Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, authorities identify remains found by a psychic medium in Jay. Plus, the latest from Augusta, where lawmakers have been trying to reach a budget deal to avoid a government shutdown. And Springfield residents are hoping for relief from flood damage along the local roads. We'll tell you about that as well. Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Colson. Emma Smith will join us shortly. Happy Friday, everyone. We made it through another work week. It looks like today will be a rather messy day ahead. A lot of folks will see rain, and you might even see a few snowflakes up north. Otherwise, it looks like things will be clearing out as we head into the weekend, which is good news for everyone. For more on what we can expect, let's turn things over to Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Emma. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine, providing quality hearing care while accepting most Medicare Advantage plans and private pay. Contact them today to schedule your free hearing test. Here's what we got. Low temperatures actually not too bad as we start things off this morning. Overall in the upper 30s to lower 40s. These may take down a few more degrees before we're all finished up. Otherwise, one lone area under a flood advisory, and that is because of some ice jams taking place. Other areas under gale warnings and small craft advisories, at least through Saturday because of some active surf that we're currently dealing with. Of course, also dealing with some areas of dense fog across our neck of the woods this morning. So if you do encounter some of that, take it slow and allow extra time to get to your destination. We have clouds moving in, increasing clouds today. There is the rain off toward the west, tracking from the west going toward the east overall. We will have rain moving in today, and maybe some snow late into the afternoon, into the evening time frame as well. Here's a system mainly right about in here, some snow on the back edge where colder air will be moving in. So futurecast moving forward, showing the rain switching over to a little bit of snow later this afternoon to the evening time frame. Then once we get towards Saturday morning, all of this, including the clouds, get out of here. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing rain, maybe a little bit of snow late with temperatures overall in the 30s and 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Emma.
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, an infant and her father are dead, and the child's mother is in the hospital after a crash Wednesday night in Lewiston. The crash happened around 10:45. Police responded to 393 Grove Street, where they say a Corolla went off the road and slammed into trees. Police say the driver, 20-year-old Tyrell Williger of Brunswick, died. The police chief says Williger's 7-month-old daughter was hospitalized and also later passed away. Her 20-year-old mother was last listed in critical condition. Police say speed is part of what caused that deadly crash, and the Criminal Investigation Division is looking into what happened there. Meanwhile, the skeletal remains found by a psychic medium in Jay have now been identified. The medical examiner's office identified the remains as 54-year-old Victor Prebenik Jr. of Livermore Falls. Officials say he was reported missing in 2023, and his death is not considered to be suspicious. His remains were found in October behind a closed bowling alley by Laurencia Bourget, who claims to be a psychic medium. She had been working with Kimberly Moreau's family. Moreau was 17 years old when she disappeared in Jay back in 1986, and her remains have not been found. Well, a former Bangor doctor accused of sexually assaulting a patient has pleaded not guilty. Dr. Michael Gilmore was arraigned Thursday after being charged with unlawful sexual touching and unlawful sexual contact. Gilmore closed his Bangor practice last winter after being accused of sexually assaulting a 23-year-old patient. She claimed he touched her in areas without a medical reason to do so. His practice has since closed, and Gilmore lost his license to practice here in Maine. Gilmore pleaded not guilty yesterday and is currently out on bail. According to the Bangor Daily, he's expected to be back in court in June for a court hearing. A man from Unity has received his sentence for sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl. 31-year-old Jesse Harvey was sentenced Thursday for gross sexual assault. According to the Morning Sentinel, Harvey pleaded guilty in December as part of a plea deal that capped his sentence at 10 years. He'll also be on 10 years of supervised release after he gets out of prison. During that time, he won't be allowed to have any contact with anyone under the age of 18 or have unsupervised visits with his own children. Well, clothing retailer Patagonia is suing Martins for allegedly knowingly selling counterfeit clothing. In the lawsuit filed earlier this week, Patagonia claims the retail store promoted and sold the counterfeit jackets in all 13 of its locations around the state. The lawsuit states in part, quote, Patagonia is informed and believes that the defendant has sourced, marketed, and sold substantial quantities of the counterfeit products and has obtained and continues to profit from such sales, end quote. Martins is denying the allegations made in that lawsuit. Yesterday, they posted on the company Facebook page, quote, it was brought to our attention that Martins unknowingly purchased mislabeled Patagonia down sweaters, which were recently sold in our stores. These jackets were sold and invoiced to Martins as authentic Patagonia products. Martins is aggressively looking into this, and we encourage any customers who purchased one of those Patagonia down sweaters or jackets to return it to your local Martins for a full refund. All remaining products in question have been removed from our retail stores. We are deeply sorry for the inconvenience. Well, a state budget is now heading to the governor's desk after lawmakers reached a deal on Thursday night. Legislative Democrats led the charge to approve the $11.3 billion plan last night. They say it will continue to fund existing programs for the next 2 years without any cuts or additions. Our Alex Schley has more on how the day unfolded.
The Maine State House of Representatives passed the proposed biannual budget with a majority 74 to 69 vote.
We got it passed. We got it passed with a majority that works perfectly correctly under the Constitution, and I'm glad we did it because the consequence would have been a disaster.
However, Representative Kimberly Hagan says Republicans aren't as pleased.
This budget is putting more strain on our Mainers.
A big point of contention holding up the passing of the budget, Maine Care.
A family of 3 that makes $80,000 a year, they don't need their kids on Maine Care. But the law says they can be.
Republicans say there needs to be more checks on the state health insurance program.
There are too many changes that need to be made to make it long-lasting. That we have too many enrolled, people that maybe aren't qualified. It's just, we will be back every year to try to pay for Maine Care.
But Democrats say withholding funds isn't the solution.
The Democrats had offered, as part of our compromises, to do an outside audit of Maine Care. That was part of what we included in the supplemental budget. That was based on what they asked us for, and then they still didn't support it.
After the House, the budget will go to the state Senate.
Once it comes here, we'll go through a similar process that they have, and it will probably take late into the night. But I'm hopeful that we're going to reach an approved budget, that when we leave here, we'll have a budget that's been approved and ready to go.
Baldacci says lawmakers hope to have a budget passed by the end of the month. In Augusta, I'm Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And again, they may end up making a lot of progress. The state budget was approved last night following votes in both the House and Senate, where Democrats have the majority. It will now appear on Governor Mills' desk for her signature. Well, Senator Angus King, meanwhile, has co-sponsored a bill that would allow combat-injured veterans to receive full military benefits. The Major Richard Start Act would adjust qualifications to ensure 50,000 veterans who are left out under the existing law get full earned disability benefits and military retirement pay. Currently, only veterans with disability ratings above 50% and with more than 20 years of service are eligible. In a statement, Senator King said, quote, our veterans put their lives on the line for our country and deserve access to their full benefits when they were injured as a result of their service. However, under the current law, tens of thousands of disabled veterans are unfairly left behind. He went on to say, quote, supporting our veterans and doing right by them is not a partisan issue, and this bill reaffirms our promise to take care of them in return for their courageous service. Well, anyone driving south in the Pittsfield area today will want to exercise some caution and leave some extra travel time due to a road construction project underway. The Department of Transportation will be closing the southbound side of I-95 near mile marker 152 in Pittsfield from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. They say the closure is necessary while crews repair pavement on the median crossover. Southbound traffic should detour to exit 157 Newport and then take Route 100 and Somerset Avenue to exit 150 in Pittsfield, where drivers can re-enter I-95. They say there will be signs marking detour routes in that area. So you may want to plan ahead because it might take you a little more time if you're heading south today. All right, the time now is 6:09. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, President Trump orders the dismantling of the Department of Education. We'll have the latest from Washington coming up. But first, another check of that weather forecast. Today looks like a rather gloomy day. We can expect rain on and off throughout the day, maybe even little snow later on, highs around 42 degrees. Rain and snow early tonight before the clouds start moving out. The lows will drop down to the upper 20s. Tomorrow we'll start off on the cloudy side, but then we'll see some more sunshine as the weekend rolls along. The highs tomorrow around 55. We'll be right back.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too. I am in. I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be here.
Your favorite restaurants for half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
The Legacy Sandwich, where you can find quality, homemade sandwiches that are made to order. When it comes to food, we take it seriously. That's why we serve shredded chicken and turkey on our sandwiches. Voted Bangor's best deli sandwich shop. It's not just a sandwich, it's a legacy.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
Treat yourself to rich Ghirardelli chocolate and luscious caramel. Experience Ghirardelli caramel squares in a bag and a bar. Makes life a bite better.
Graduates include Michelle Obama and Jeff Bezos.
Princeton. Person, place, or thing.
I love it when someone comes with a winning dance.
Weekdays at 10 on ABC 7.
Join America's favorite game.
You never know what's going to happen.
For the I can't believe it.
Oh my goodness.
And always for the unexpected.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
That's not it, but thank you.
Who knows what we will do next?
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
Welcome back, everyone. President Trump signed an executive order Thursday to begin the process of dismantling the Department of Education. It fulfills a campaign promise and a longtime policy goal for conservatives. The president claims the department spends too much money for too little in return, and education decisions would be better left to the states. The move, though, drawing backlash from Democrats and teachers unions who say it will hurt students. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has the latest.
President Trump flanked by young students signing an executive order Thursday to dismantle the Department of Education.
The United States spends more money on education by far than any other country and spends likewise by far more money per pupil than any country, and it's not even close, but yet we rank near the bottom of the list in terms of success, and we've been there for a long time.
Trump tasked Linda McMahon with taking it apart, saying he hopes she'll be the last education secretary.
And he wants to get those dollars, even more dollars, back to the states without the bureaucracy of Washington.
Most school funding already comes from states and municipalities. The White House says it will keep key programs like Pell Grants and student loans, but those responsibilities could be moved to another agency. Dissolving the department altogether could be a tough task, requiring congressional approval and Democrat votes. Democrats and union leaders are already railing against the move, and lawsuits are likely.
Educators are feeling it right now. The reality that they will not have arts and music, the reality that they will not have after-school programs, the reality that they will have larger class sizes. This is not okay, that we are sacrificing our students.
Secretary McMahon says she plans to work with Congress on the next steps. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Maine home sales increased in February. That's according to Maine listings. Sales of single-family homes rose by 6.5% compared to February of 2024. But the number of home sales isn't the only metric that went up. The price of those homes increased by 9% statewide, reaching $381,500 for the average home price. The biggest increase in price was in Hancock County, which saw a 17.87% rise. Prices in Somerset County saw the biggest decline in price. They actually went down by 6.37%.
Outside Bangor's post office on Hammond Street yesterday morning, various unions and everyday people gathered in protest against the proposed privatization of the United States Postal Service. Our Doug Banks with that story.
Organized by the American Postal Workers Union, a large number of folks gathered outside the post office on Hammond Street here in downtown Bangor to voice their disapproval of the Trump administration's talks over privatizing the United States Postal Service.
The word out there is that the Postal Service lost $9 billion. I disagree. It cost $9 billion. No one says the United States Navy lost $14 billion on the new Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, because it's there for the people. It's there to protect the people. We don't lose money, we cost money.
USPS is an independent agency and public service under the federal government. According to Smith, privatizing the USPS could make delivery times longer and more expensive.
It means lowered service standards and raised prices. In the short term, it would save money for the people who bought the Postal Service, and eventually it would increase their profits, but again, at the detriment of the American people.
My family members get their medications through the Postal Service. They rely on it. They live rurally. It's the easiest and most cost-efficient way that they can get it.
I hope that this brings awareness to what we're talking about. You know, maybe people will be not just informed, but excited. You know, we need to come together right now.
Thursday morning was a national day of action for the Postal Workers Union, as this picketing in Bangor was one of many that occurred across the country.
It is a public service for a reason. It is the service of the government, for the people, by the people.
In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And that happened in Portland as well as across the country.
Wow.
A lot of protests at USPS places. All right, the time now is 6:16. After the break, spring is here and rain is in the forecast. We'll check out some concerns from a flood zone.
Plus that full 5-day forecast coming up on Good Morning Maine.
For the best LiftMaster openers at real prices, call PDQ Door first. Hi, I'm Dave from PDQ Door. For emergency service, routine maintenance, and tune-ups, make PDQ Door your first call. Learn more at pdqdoor.com, where we sell the best and service the rest.
Foggy's Pub, your place for fun, food, and friends in Palmyra, Maine.
If you love high-power boating, the V8 you've been waiting for is here. The all-new Honda BF350 V8 outboard from Honda Marine combines premium power with unparalleled performance for one exhilarating boating experience after another. It's Honda's first ever production V8, and it's backed by Honda's True 5-year limited warranty. The all-new BF350 V8, only from Honda Marine.
Save up to $5,000 on a new Honda outboard. Visit Peary Marine today for more details.
Hi, I'm Dave from PDQ Door. We pride ourselves on our honesty and integrity. We'll always give you the best garage door repairs at a real price. Had your doors installed by another company? That's okay. Our experienced team is available to service all brands and models. Visit us at pdqdoor.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Residents in Springfield are hoping to spark some action from the town and state officials over recent flood damage along their road that they say has made it challenging to even leave their homes.
Our Grace Blanchard shares more.
As spring arrives, heavy rains and melting snow are already wreaking havoc on some communities.
Flooding is the leading cause of weather-related deaths and property damage in the U.S. It's often because of heavy rainfall, rapid snowmelt, storm surges, things like that.
Residents in a remote part of Springfield say their road received major flooding on Wednesday that damaged a culvert, making it challenging for them to leave their homes.
It's relatively impassable except by foot travel. I mean, you can get in and out with a four-wheeler or 4x4, but not with a vehicle.
Richard Hawley and Jeffrey Burns are among the few residents living along the Ghost Road.
It's a pretty big deal because you got people living back here. You can't get food. You know, you have to. This guy's supposed to walk it. He's 70 years old. He's supposed to walk his groceries.
The residents say they both raised their concerns during the latest town hall meeting and have reached out to both state and federal officials.
The town hall didn't look like they were interested in fixing the road. They wanted us to fix it.
They are also concerned about emergency crews being able to reach them amid these conditions.
It's always a possibility when you're working out in the woods or, doing things. Anything could happen to you.
Members of the volunteer fire department say they face challenges accessing that area each mud season, but they deal with the conditions as best as they can and call on additional resources for help if necessary. We made attempts to reach town officials but did not receive a response. In Springfield, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Boy, it's a tough situation for towns all over the state this time of year during mud season. A lot of those roads just, they get potholes and things like that, and the towns just try to keep up with them.
I know. Road maintenance is a problem everywhere.
Yeah, hopefully they find a solution.
Yep. All right, the time now is 6:20.
Let's get a full look at our weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine, providing quality hearing care while accepting most Medicare Advantage plans and private pay. Contact them today to schedule your free hearing test. Alrighty, we got one lone flood advisory up until further notice, dealing with some ice jams in this one lone area, while gale warnings and small crowd advisories are up along the coast as we are dealing with some active surf at this time. Let's check on that right now at around 5 feet according to the buoys. Anywhere you see this light blue or even the green out there, that indicates some of the active surf that we are dealing with this morning. Meanwhile, we're also dealing with some areas of dense fog that has reduced visibility in many areas this morning. Definitely exercise some caution as you do make that morning commute. We are watching clouds tracking off to the north and east. There's some rain right about in here too, and there's even some snow on the back edge as some colder air is causing some of the precipitation here to switch over to a little bit of snow. We'll see a little bit of snow from the system before it wraps up later on tonight. So futurecast moving forward, there's some rain passing through. We're going to be watching for this to switch over to snow later this afternoon. Then once we head towards the evening time frame, again, a little bit of snow can't be ruled out. Notice as we head towards Saturday morning, the clouds get out of here too, so we'll have a good amount of sunshine as we head towards your Saturday. Maybe some clouds moving in by Saturday evening with another little system moving in, so some rain and snow again as we head towards early Sunday morning. As for the rainfall, a decent amount, maybe up to a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain before we're all finished up with this current system. And then a little bit of snow can't be ruled out either, maybe a couple inches further off towards the north and not much of anything, maybe a little bit further down toward the south, but otherwise nothing too impressive at this point. But otherwise, your forecast coming up for today, we have low 40s, some rain and snow on the way. It will be breezy as well. North wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour or so. Later on tonight, upper 20s, some rain and snow early, decreasing clouds overnight, and that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. And then it's Saturday, mid-50s. That will feel nice, increasing clouds, breezy out there, southwest wind at around 20 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine. So some morning snow showers Sunday, otherwise partly cloudy to even mostly sunny with highs in the upper 30s. Upper 30s again for your Monday, a good chance for snow. More rain and snow opportunities Tuesday with highs in the upper 40s.
Any job goes more smoothly and successfully with the right people on your team, like the people at Hammond Lumber Company, where you'll find high-quality building materials from industry-leading suppliers and get expert advice and professional services. Hammond offers timely delivery with their own fleet of trucks, with boom and forklift trucks available. For your next project, get the materials and services you need to succeed from Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner.
Mira Joy, the overwhelming relief after Miralax helps you go. Miralax works naturally with the water in your body, putting you in a supernaturally good mood. Miralax, free your gut to free your mood.
Goose River Farm and Meat Store is conveniently located on Route 3 across from Hammond Lumber in Belfast. They have a wide selection of meat and poultry, including beef, pork, lamb, chicken, duck, rabbit, and turkey. Open Tuesday through Saturday.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
It's markdown mania at the Furniture Gallery, and the deals are madness. Relax in this cozy recliner. Choose tan, gray, or brown for only $2.98. Grab a sofa chaise for just $5.98. Upgrade your living room with a sofa and love seat set, now just $7.98. Scott Living mattresses are now priced king size for a queen price. Plus, save up to 70% on in-stock clearance items. Hurry into the Furniture Gallery, shop our main family-owned business, and save money. The Furniture Gallery.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
This morning, a setback for Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency. A federal judge blocking Doge from accessing sensitive Social Security records. It comes as President Trump signs an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details.
Good morning. The judge's order blocks the agency from granting access to systems that contain identifiable information and orders Doge members to destroy any data that identifies individual taxpayers. In a 137-page ruling, a judge blocking Doge's unrestricted access to sensitive Social Security agency data. The judge calling Doge's actions a, quote, fishing expedition, saying the group's approach to identifying fraud is tantamount to hitting a fly with a sledgehammer. The ruling comes as President Trump signs an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education, saying he'll return education to the states.
We're going to eliminate it, and everybody knows it's right. And the Democrats know it's right.
The Department of Education has been chiefly responsible for enforcing civil rights laws to prevent discrimination in schools, overseeing the process for students applying for college financial aid, and overseeing funding to help low-income schools and students with disabilities. The Trump administration saying it will preserve its responsibilities for low-income schools, Pell Grants, and money for children with disabilities. President Trump is not able to fully eliminate the Department of Education without congressional approval, but his executive order will dramatically scale down its function. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Well, those refunds could help pay for higher food prices, not just at the grocery store, but at restaurants. A new study finds the price of dining out has nearly doubled. But that doesn't explain another new finding, why some people are choosing to eat alone. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii with that story.
It's no surprise as food prices rise, eating out has become more expensive. But how much more expensive? A new study from Finance Buzz found in the last 5 years, popular chain restaurants hiked their prices by an average of 42%. That's double the national inflation rate. Breakfast restaurants facing high egg prices saw the biggest increases. Waffle House nearly doubled their prices in the last 5 years. Prices at IHOP rising more than 80%. Among other chains topping the list, Texas Roadhouse at 46% and TGI Fridays at 45%. The good news? Egg prices are finally falling. But this week, the Federal Reserve warned President Trump's tariff policies are pushing inflation up again.
There are going to be tariffs, and they tend to bring growth down.
Labor costs and other factors are also hitting restaurants' bottom lines. Another potential factor? More Americans these days are eating alone. The World Happiness Report, out this week, found 1 in 4 Americans now report eating all of their meals alone the previous day. The number higher among those under age 25, who report an 80% increase in dining alone in recent decades. Doctors, increasingly worried about loneliness and isolation in society, are not surprised.
People are more divided than they ever have been. There's issues with mistrust. And we have these technological barriers that are keeping people isolated. We are living more so on screens and on phones and less in person.
The annual World Happiness Report found the U.S. now ranks 24th in the world for happiness, its lowest position ever in the study. Finland was number 1. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
An American detained by the Taliban in Afghanistan has been freed in a deal made by American and Qatari mediators. After 2.5 years of captivity, Delta Airlines mechanic George Glessman was released and is traveling back to the U.S. as of yesterday. In 2022, Glessman was detained by the Taliban without charges after traveling to Afghanistan for a vacation. He was designated as wrongfully detained by the U.S. government the following year. After weeks of negotiations, Qataris made a breakthrough in recent meetings with the Taliban. In a statement, Secretary of State Marco Rubio praised Qatar for their commitment and diplomatic efforts that he said were instrumental in securing Georgia's release. He also says Glesman's release is a reminder that other Americans are still detained in Afghanistan. Glesman is the third American detainee to be released by the Taliban since January.
A 1-month-old baby girl has been rescued from rubble after a third night of Israeli airstrikes killed over 50 Palestinians across Gaza. The death toll is expected to rise as more victims are pulled from the rubble following overnight bombing. The 1-month-old's father did not survive. A first wave of airstrikes on Tuesday broke a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, killing over 400, according to the health ministry in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said the attack was only the beginning and that Israel would press ahead until it achieves all its war aims, destroying Hamas and freeing all hostages held by the militant group.
One of the world's busiest international airports is closing today after a fire caused a significant power outage. In a statement on X, London's Heathrow Airport says it will shut down until at least 11:59 p.m. London time. A fire at an electrical substation in West London late Thursday night knocked out power and forced evacuations of the entire airport and several nearby homes. At least 120 flights on the way to the airport were diverted. Heathrow officials say passengers shouldn't travel to the airport until it officially reopens, and they don't know yet when dependable levels of power will be back. Heathrow Airport handles at least 1,300 flights daily.
That could cause some problems.
That's a huge disruption.
Yeah.
All right, coming up on the second half of the newscast, all the latest news from Hollywood.
That and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
At Spectrum, we believe every day unlocks unlimited possibilities to bring you closer to the people and places you love. Spectrum transforms your gaming experience into a galaxy of adventures. And with the fastest, most reliable internet, you're always front row to the entertainment you love, no matter where you are. Get Spectrum Internet Premier for $30 per month when bundled plus a 3-year price guarantee. Call 1-833-440-0029. Spectrum Internet puts streaming live TV, sports, and popular apps all at your fingertips.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With 25 years experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out Half Off Fun from foxbangor.com.
Bangor Brewer bowling lanes on Wilson Street in Brewer, featuring 24 lanes of candlepin bowling and a big arcade room where kids can win great prizes. Glow bowling on Saturday nights from 7 until closing. Bring your entire family of fun entertainment for all ages.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with Half Off Fun from foxbangor.com.
Winter is a time to get outside and enjoy all that Maine has to offer. And when it's time to come inside, rest assured everything's toasty because of your Fujitsu heat pump from Valley Home Services. Push a button and you'll be snuggling up on the couch in no time. Valley Home Services offers reliable rebates, significant energy savings, and expert installation. And now save $500 off each indoor unit for all systems installed by April 1st. Embrace the comfort of Fujitsu heat pumps from Valley Home Services. Call or click today.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Friday, March 21st, 2025. It is also World Poetry Day.
And Craig just loves poetry. It's
Not
like
really
your favorite thing.
Not really into poetry, but I get that people dig it.
Yeah, we had a little conversation about it this morning. I was like, that's the biggest day of today, Craig. We got to do World Poetry
My
Day.
kind of poetry and rhymes you couldn't put on the air.
Yeah,
here, but,
and that's fair. You know, you deserve to have that sometimes.
I appreciate that it's there.
Yeah,
but,
Not FCC approved.
No.
Well, the United Nations founded this day in 1999. Poetry uses rhythms and imagery to elicit emotion and the imagination of the reader. It's believed the first known poem appeared 4,000 years ago in Babylon. Today, countless types of poems are available to enjoy, including haikus, limericks, sonnets, and ballads. And it doesn't have to have a fancy name. It can just be something that you wrote, that you thought, or that you feel, and it's pretty and it sounds nice.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't, and it's just expressive.
Yeah. I took a poetry class in college, and it was not my favorite class because, I'm not a poet.
I took a poetry class in college, and it wasn't my favorite class either. I actually really didn't enjoy it, but I was in the car the other day, and I realized that I was thinking about things in the way that I was taught in that class.
Right.
It teaches you a different way to think about things, which is really cool.
If I read a good poem, which I do every now and then, and I appreciate, I'll appreciate it, but it's just not my go-to. It's like, I got to read me some poetry.
Right. Well, it helps you think about things in a different way.
Yeah, which is never a bad thing.
Totally.
All right, time for history. It was on this day back in 1788. Almost the entire city of New Orleans was destroyed by a fire that ravaged 856 buildings. So many large cities back then had these devastating fires, including the city of Bangor at one point. In 1790, Thomas Jefferson reported to President George Washington as the new Secretary of State. In 1945, during World War II, Allied bombers began 4 days of raids over Germany on this state. And in 1952, the Moondog Coronation Ball took place in the Cleveland Arena. It was considered to be the first rock and roll concert in America. Oh. That's something I could get into.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 1963, Alcatraz prison in San Francisco Bay closed down and transferred prisoners to other facilities. Now they offer tours, which is pretty cool. I would go. In 1965, Martin Luther King Jr. began his historic Freedom March from Selma, Alabama to the capital of Montgomery. He led thousands of civil rights demonstrators in an effort to gain voting rights for African Americans in the South. And in 1980, President Jimmy Carter announced the U.S. would boycott the Summer Olympic Games in Moscow. It was in protest of the Soviet Union's failure to withdraw its troops from Afghanistan. And in 2006, the first ever tweet was published on Twitter. Co-founder Jack Dorsey wrote that he was just setting up his Twitter.
That's the first tweet.
Right.
Just setting it up.
I think I had a similar first tweet.
Did
I don't
you?
really know how to use this, but here we are.
Kind of like a little test or something like that.
Yep.
All right, for birthdays today, they include actor Matthew Broderick. Ferris Bueller is 63 years old today. How about that?
I bet he hates still getting that.
I know.
How old was he when he did Ferris Bueller?
Probably late teens or early 20s or something like that.
He looks wicked young in that film.
He'll always be Ferris Bueller to me.
Right.
Comedian Rosie O'Donnell is 63. And actor Gary Oldman, we just love him. He is 67 years old today. Any film that Gary Oldman's in is a good film.
I love Gary Oldman. Yeah, he's in all sorts of stuff too.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. It's Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you.
Looks like we have a pretty nice weekend. However, Sunday may feel pretty chilly after what we've been used to this week.
At least we'll see some more sunshine. Tomorrow, though, it looks like it'll get up into the 50s and see some sun. So it'll be a good day.
Absolutely. Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
And thank you very much, Craig and Emma. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine, providing quality hearing care while accepting most Medicare Advantage plans and private pay. Contact them today to schedule your free hearing test. Here's what we got. Low temperatures actually not too bad as we start things off this morning. Overall in the upper 30s to lower 40s. These may take down a few more degrees before we're all finished up. Otherwise, one lone area under a flood advisory, and that is because of some ice jams taking place. Other areas under gale warnings and small craft advisories, at least through Saturday because of some active surf that we're currently dealing with. Of course, also dealing with some areas of dense fog across our neck of the woods this morning. So if you do encounter some of that, take it slow and allow extra time to get to your destination. We have clouds moving in, increasing clouds today. There is the rain off toward the west, tracking from the west going toward the east overall. We will have rain moving in today, and maybe some snow late into the afternoon, into the evening time frame as well. Here's a system mainly right about in here, some snow on the back edge where colder air will be moving in. So Futurecast moving forward, showing the rain switching over to a little bit of snow later this afternoon to the evening time frame. Then once we get towards Saturday morning, all of this, including the clouds, get out of here. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing rain, maybe a little bit of snow late with temperatures overall in the 30s and 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Emma.
And for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood,
here's ABC's Melissa Adon.
You, my boy, are meant to be a musician.
Disney is returning to the world of Coco. CEO Bob Iger confirming a sequel to the 2017 animated film is in development. Disney is the parent company of ABC News.
Where should we go for our next trip? I want to go someplace warm.
Vacation has officially started.
Tina Fey's next TV comedy is called Four Seasons. It's based on the 1981 Alan Alda movie of the same name, about a group of couples on vacation that takes a turn when one of them announces they're divorcing. The new series stars Faye, Will Forte, Steve Carell, and Coleman Domingo. Look for it on Netflix May 1st.
Being Aaron's twin, I can be this voice for him.
There's a new documentary about Backstreet Boy Nick Carter and his late brother Aaron. The Carters Hurts to Love You looks at the lives of the pop superstars and the toll fame took on their family. Directed by Soleil Moon Frye of Punky Brewster fame, the two-part documentary debuts April 15th. And happy birthday, Gary Oldman. The Oscar-winning actor is 67. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
all right, right after the break, Tyler Cruz will have our sports updates.
Don't go away.
We're here at US Cellular, Frost Days, where our customers get exclusive deals just for them. It's like we got our own special club. Should we show them?
Get $1,200 off any phone plus $500 off any tablet.
Your local financial partner has a new name, the County Federal Credit Union. And we're inspired by the people we serve, the big dreamers and smart planners, the risk takers and trailblazers. As a lifelong partner offering powerful tools and personal service, we were built for our members. Start a financial relationship that's driven by community and inspired by you. Visit countyfcu.org.
Here we are, patient billing.
Whoa, who's that?
Oh, well, that's Mark. He marks up medicines.
340B medicine markups?
Bingo. As a nonprofit, we might pay a penny for a medicine. Mark marks it up to thousands of dollars, and we pocket the difference.
I hear we're buying up small hospitals, too.
More medicines to mark up.
At US Cellular, you don't have to choose between a great phone and the right phone plan for you. You can get 4 free phones of your choice and 4 lines for just $90.
That's like us not having to choose between tickets to wrestling or that puppet musical.
Because you get both.
US Cellular, built for us.
Playoff hockey time at TD Garden. Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Maine hockey in action in the Hockey East semifinals Thursday night in Boston, looking to get to their first finals since 2012, taking on Northeastern. Let's roll the highlights. Boston is Orono South on Thursday. Maine fans flocking to watch their Black Bears. First period, no score. Owen Fowler fresh out of the penalty box. After the kill, he finds himself wide open, buries it between the legs of Cameron Whitehead. Maine up 1-0. Second period now, Maine coming out firing. Lyndon Breen's shot is saved, but it falls right to Fowler, who buries it over the shoulder of Whitehead. Maine up 2-0. And that was his second of the game. Huskies add one late in the second on the attack in the third. Jackson Dorrington taking it into the zone over to Cam Lunn, who lifts it over the arm of Albin Boya to tie this one up at 2. Third period now. Northeastern still applying pressure. They throw a shot on net. It's saved and then cleaned up by Andy Moore. The Cumberland native gives the Huskies a 3-2 lead. Later on, Maine wins the faceoff. Luke Antonacci holds, then fires it at the net. It hits off the body of a defender and finds its way into the back. All tied at 3. We go to overtime, to double overtime. Charlie Russell has a lane, fires. This tips off of Nolan Renwick, and the Maine Black Bears are heading to their first Hockey East championship since 2012. They win it 4-2-3. All right, let's move on now, and we'll move on to some basketball. It's the best day on the sports calendar for college basketball fans. The NCAA tournament kicking off with the round of 64 on Thursday. Let the madness begin. Cooper Flagg and the Duke Blue Devils are the top seed in the East region. They have to wait. They will play Mount St. Mary's on Friday afternoon. After an ankle injury in the ACC quarterfinal round, Flagg sat for the semis and the conference championship, but he is expected to play in Friday's first-round game. Duke is the betting favorite to win the NCAA tournament and cut down the nets, and Flagg says he's been working hard to get back and is confident in his squad this March.
I'm feeling pretty good. We have an incredible team, incredible training staff. So we've been working through the steps of just getting back, getting to 100%. I feel very good. I'm very confident moving forward.
Flagg and Duke take on 16 seed Mount St. Mary's at 2:50 on Friday afternoon. Let's stay with some basketball now. Some big news out of the Boston Celtics. The Celtics have officially been sold pending approval from the National Basketball Association. It was announced after last year's title that Wyc Grousbeck and the ownership group, Boston Basketball Partners LLC, would be seeking a sale of the Celtics. And on Thursday, Business Wire reporting that Grousbeck is in agreement to sell the franchise for $6.1 billion to an investor group led by William Chisholm. Chisholm, a Mass native and a lifelong Celtics fan. Grousbeck will remain in his role as CEO and governor through 2028. In a statement with Business Wire, Chisholm says, "Growing up on the North Shore and attending college in New England, I have been a diehard Celtics fan my entire life. I understand how important the Celtics are to the city of Boston. The role the team plays in the community is different than any other city in the country." He goes on to say he understands his responsibility as the owner and is up for the challenge, and closes by saying he's looking to work to bring more titles to Boston. Grousbeck writes that Bill is a terrific person and a true Celtics fan. Born and raised in the area, he says Bill's love for the team and the city and his chemistry with the front office makes him a natural choice for the job. Says Chisholm burns with a passion to win on the court while being totally committed to the community. It's nice that the team falls in the hands of a fan. That is all the time we have for sports right now. We'll be right back after the break.
Hi, I'm Dave from PDQ Door. We pride ourselves on our honesty and integrity. We'll always give you the best garage door repairs at a real price. Had your doors installed by another company? That's okay. Our experienced team is available to service all brands and models. Visit us at pdqdoor.com.
Ugh, when is my allergy spray gonna kick in?
You need Astapro.
Astapro?
It's faster, bro. 8 times faster than Flonase. It's faster, bro.
It's faster, bro. It's faster, bro.
It's mom to you.
Astapro starts working in 30 minutes. Astapro and go.
The Maine Science Festival has been showcasing the incredible science happening in Maine for 10 years. From the depths of the oceans to the vastness of space, the Maine Science Festival is the best place for people of all ages to learn about how Maine scientists are leading the way. With 5 days of forums, workshops, and hands-on fun, there's truly something for everyone. And thanks to our sponsors, admission is free. The Maine Science Festival. Learn more at mainsciencefestival.org.
When Rowell's Garage in Dover Foxcroft wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance.
Hi, I'm Dave from PDQ Door. For a brighter, quieter, smarter garage door, call PDQ Door. You can count on LiftMaster openers, and for the best prices and best service, you can count on PDQ Door. Visit us online at pdqdoor.com, where we sell the best and service the rest.
Tesla's Cybertruck is back on the recall list. The head of Amtrak has resigned, and Edible Arrangements is growing its business.
Fox's CJ Papa has those stories and more in today's Fox Means Business.
Tesla is recalling nearly all of its Cybertrucks because a cosmetic panel could detach. It is the 8th recall for the Cybertruck since it was first released in 2023. The repair will be made free of charge to owners. The head of Amtrak is out. Reuters says Stephen Gardner is resigning after the White House forced him to step down. This follows calls by head of Doge Elon Musk to privatize the passenger train company, which received $22 billion in additional funding from Congress in 2021. Meanwhile, Darden Restaurants, parent of Olive Garden and Longhorn Steakhouse, reported higher earnings and sales overall in its third quarter, as its brands added more than 100 new restaurants. But the company says there were mixed results among its restaurant chains, as Olive Garden sales growth was under 1%. And Edible Arrangements is adding a whole new meaning to its name, but the new venture requires an ID. Edibles.com will sell various hemp products like drinks and gummies. The website launches in Texas Friday, with plans to roll out nationwide in the near future. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Meanwhile, Amazon is fighting back against a federal consumer agency that claims the retail giant is responsible for recalled products on its site. Amazon is suing the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. The safety agency ordered Amazon to notify customers about 400,000 defective products and also required it to give refunds to those who properly disposed of those products. The agency also sued Amazon in 2021, saying it allegedly distributed hazardous items and put consumers at risk. Amazon disputes that claim in its suit, saying it's only a third-party logistics provider of products and isn't responsible for recalls itself. Amazon also says it did provide recall notices and some refunds after the 2021 concerns were raised. Amazon says the CPSC is engaging in unconstitutional overreach.
Oh boy, can't have that. All right, now here's meteorologist Evan Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine, providing quality hearing care while accepting most Medicare Advantage plans and private pay. Contact them today to schedule your free hearing test. Alrighty, we got one lone flood advisory up until further notice, dealing with some ice jams in this one lone area, while gale warnings and small crowd advisories are up along the coast as we are dealing with some active surf at this time. Let's check on that right now at around 5 feet according to the buoys. Anywhere you see this light blue or even the green out there, that indicates some of the active surf that we are dealing with this morning. Meanwhile, we're also dealing with some areas of dense fog that has reduced visibility in many areas this morning. Definitely exercise some caution as you do make that morning commute. We are watching clouds tracking off to the north and east. There's some rain right about in here too, and there's even some snow on the back edge as some colder air is causing some of the precipitation here to switch over to a little bit of snow. We'll see a little bit of snow from the system before it wraps up later on tonight. So futurecast moving forward, there's some rain passing through. We're going to be watching for this to switch over to snow later this afternoon. Then once we head towards the evening time frame, again, a little bit of snow can't be ruled out. Notice as we head towards Saturday morning, the clouds get out of here too, so we'll have a good amount of sunshine as we head towards your Saturday. Maybe some clouds moving in by Saturday evening with another little system moving in, so some rain and snow again as we head towards early Sunday morning. As for the rainfall, a decent amount, maybe up to a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain before we're all finished up with this current system. And then a little bit of snow can't be ruled out either, maybe a couple inches further off towards the north and not much of anything, maybe a little bit further down toward the south, but otherwise nothing too impressive at this point. But otherwise, your forecast coming up for today, we have low 40s, some rain and snow on the way. It will be breezy as well. North wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour or so. Later on tonight, upper 20s, some rain and snow early, decreasing clouds overnight, and that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. And then it's Saturday, mid-50s. That will feel nice, increasing clouds, breezy out there, southwest wind at around 20 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine. So some morning snow showers Sunday, otherwise partly cloudy to even mostly sunny with highs in the upper 30s. Upper 30s again for your Monday, a good chance for snow. More rain and snow opportunities Tuesday with highs in the upper 40s.
After an accident, the insurance company often wants to rush you into accepting their fair offer. Don't sign away your rights.
I didn't trust the insurance company.
They were wanting to settle fast and cheap.
How much is your case worth? It's probably worth more than you've been told.
I called Joe.
I found out what my case was really worth.
Say yes to maximum compensation, to everything you deserve. Call the firm that has been getting justice for Mainers for 50 years.
Tell them you mean business.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Napa knows every driver deserves quality parts. With 30 locations in Maine, Maine's largest network of parts has everything you need to keep your vehicle and equipment running smoothly. Stock up and save big this month during our Napa Gold Filter Sale, March 22nd through 30th. From oil, air, and fuel to light and heavy-duty filters, every Napa Gold filter is up to 60% off. Find the filter that fits your needs and get to the moments that matter most. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Treat yourself to rich Ghirardelli chocolate and luscious caramel. Experience Ghirardelli caramel squares in a bag and a bar. Makes life a bite better.
Idols breaking the internet. And Sunday, an emotional tribute.
Everyone was focusing on my dad's death, and I wanted to tell the story of his life.
It's so brave of you.
American Idol, new Sunday on ABC.
The Maine Discovery Museum's 10th annual Maine Science Festival might already be underway, but it's not too late to experience all there is to offer. Between now and Sunday, Bangor will be filled with activities and events for all ages that are meant for both entertainment and for inspiration, to inspire you to have a love for science. According to the museum's director of operations, every event is free to the public.
It celebrates all of the amazing science that's happening right here in the state of Maine. And it makes March the best month in Maine because we get to really celebrate the whole month and the science that's taking place here in our state.
For everything there is to know about the festival, visit mainsciencefestival.org or pick up a program at the Maine Discovery Museum. And I don't believe it's all at the Maine Discovery Museum. I'm pretty sure it's mostly at the Cross Insurance Center right up the road. So
Yeah.
It is really meant for everybody.
Yeah, sounds like fun. Well, we heard a little bit about this earlier. Finland is no stranger to the top of this list. According to the World Happiness Report in 2025, published on Thursday, Finland is the happiest country for the eighth year in a row. Researchers say that happiness is a lot more than health and wealth, noting that simple factors like sharing meals with others and having someone to count on for social support can significantly increase happiness. Meanwhile, the U.S. has fallen into the lowest position ever at 24. The report attributes the drop in happiness here to an increase of people dining alone and political polarization as well. Very interesting. Yeah. Went to Finland one time. Loved it there. It was beautiful. Everything was nice and clean there in Helsinki.
I didn't know that you'd been to Finland.
Oh, yeah. And I went there on a trip to Russia one time. We stopped there.
Okay.
Wonderful. People were very nice. Beautiful bakeries, and they have a lot of really unique pedestrian walking paths and things like that.
I also think it has a lot to do with, I think what this article is calling attention to, the fact that we, in our society, we may not emphasize companionship as much as other cultures.
Yeah.
And that could be an area of concern that we could all try to not really do that as much, you know?
Something to work on, and get back to neighbors, helping neighbors and things like that.
I know, and it's hard. It's hard when you're stressed out and, you know, money's tight and stuff like that, but it's the times.
Yeah, I think we're about out of time.
We are about out of time. Hey, if you missed anything, you can head to foxbangor.com. We'll start a new hour of Good Morning Maine next on Fox 22, and we have all sorts of different stuff coming up next in the next 2 hours.
A guest will tell us about Make-A-Wish Maine. It has a big, fun night out planned for everybody, too, so we'll hear about that in the next hour. That's it for now, though. We do thank you for joining us and hope you have a wonderful day.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With 25 years experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location.
The Maine Science Festival has been showcasing the incredible science happening in Maine for 10 years. From the depths of the oceans to the vastness of space, the Maine Science Festival is the best place for people of all ages to learn about how Maine scientists are leading the way. With 5 days of forums, workshops, and hands-on fun, there's truly something for everyone. And thanks to our sponsors, admission is free.
the Maine Science Festival. Learn more at mainsciencefestival.org.
Winter is a time to get outside and enjoy all that Maine has to offer. And when it's time to come inside, rest assured everything's toasty because of your Fujitsu heat pump from Valley Home Services. Push a button and you'll be snuggling up on the couch in no time. Valley Home Services offers reliable rebates, significant energy savings, and expert installation. And now save $500 off each indoor unit for all systems installed by April 1st. Embrace the comfort of Fujitsu heat pumps from Valley Home Services. Call or click today.
Hammond Lumber Company has been a trusted partner of professional contractors, do-it-yourselfers, and homeowners for generations. It's the level of trust that Hammond Lumber has earned by providing an extensive selection of products and materials from industry-leading suppliers with guidance and support through every stage of any project, including delivery of materials throughout Maine and New Hampshire. Hammond Lumber Company is, has been, and will always be your building project partner.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America. Sudden airport shutdown, a new warning about counterfeit car seats, and a Cinderella story with an unexpected.
Good morning, Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, authorities identify remains found by a psychic medium in Jay.
Plus, the latest from Augusta, where lawmakers are trying to reach a budget deal to avoid a government shutdown. A little secret, they reached the deal late last night.
And Springfield residents are hoping for relief from flood damage along local roads. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll have those stories and a lot more coming up over the next hour. But first, a check of that important forecast as we head into the weekend. It's finally Friday. Looks like a rather gloomy day today. We'll see rain on and off throughout the day. Some areas might even see a little bit of snow before it's all done.
It kind of poured last night.
It did. It did. The good news is we'll see some more sunshine as we head through the weekend.
We definitely need it. Certain places are flood zones.
Need to dry it out.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Here's Devin Biggs.